Javon, just wanted to thank you for allowing us to do this interview.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited for your insight about slander and defamation. This is what my project has to be about.
Okay.
So first, we want to basically go over what slander is, slander and defamation. If you can give your
Of
insights
course.
about that.
So defamation, basically speaking of defamation of character, is when you talk bad or say anything that's false or untrue about a person, and then slander is really specifics about it. I would say slander would be more if you like say it verbally, or some type of communication of the defamation of the person, which is false facts or untrue statements that cause either harm or damage to the person physically or career-wise or anything like that as well. Those are like the main things that makes the difference from defamation and slander.
So, reputation-wise, that would also be like the damage of their reputation.
Yeah,
That would
that's
also be
huge.
included.
That's a lot of what makes defamation a big thing for a lot of legal issues, because a lot of times it's not actual physical injuries, but rather their reputation is something that gets damaged the most, causing a lot of defamation
Can you give
cases.
us the reasons why someone would file a slander lawsuit against somebody?
Well, there's multiple reasons that someone can use, but some of the main and popular ones are damage caused by the statement, such as pain and anxiety and suffering from that. You also have people who do it because of loss of wages or loss of a living or ability to earn a living and earn money for it. You also have it because of physical emotions someone can go through, which is guilt, shame, and sadness, even depression sometimes. Those are like the main reasons that someone would do it.
You were recently a part of the slander case with USC in Missouri, where Missouri's athletic director said some untrue stuff about USC's head coach for the women's basketball team after a game.
That is correct.
Lawsuit was brought back in May and decided in May. Could you give us some insight on exactly what went down with the case?
Yeah, I can tell you. So basically, it all started with a basketball game between the women's team for Mizzou at USC, and they were playing. And throughout the game, there was a lot of tensions. The tensions were high. The intensity and attitude between the players were high, which led to a lot of chatter, a lot of talking, which led to a lot of aggression, which even actually led to a fight between the players and everything. So it was already a bad environment from the start. And so as Mizzou was leaving, according to their athletic director, there was fans over at USC who was throwing stuff at the players, and even some things that were said, such as calling the players the N-word and other derogatory words and languages were used. And so the thing was, none of that really happened, but became a defamation case when the athletic director started saying that the USC women's coach actually approved of this and wanted more of this to come from the environment. So that's when we were called into it to cover the case, and led to the decision of having USC be in favor and winning the actual case.
Some insights on basically how the case went, whether you disagree or agree with the decision that was made, and basically reasons why you would agree or disagree.
Yeah, of course. Well, I agree with the decision that the courts made in actually approving of USC to win the case and agreeing with our side. I think the decision was fair and just, obviously, because the decision came because there was actually no evidence shown by what the Mizzou athletic director said about the USC head coach, or even what the fans actually did. So with none of that actually being there, there's no way you can actually say that happened, and let alone say the statement that a head coach would have approved of such rude and inappropriate behavior from students. So I agree personally with what the decision was made, and I think this it's unfair for cases like this to happen, especially if there's no evidence, just to say because you're in a bad mood or something happened that was already tensions high. I believe it's unfair for people to do this, because defamation can ruin many of people's lives, because without this case, who knows what could have happened to the head coach or even the USC program for women's basketball, all because this coach, or this athletic director, wanted to say something that was rude and inconsiderate because they were upset at the time.
Well, again, with the USC head coach, how do you think the comment damaged her physically, mentally, her reputation? How do you think, or why do you think USC's head coach brought this forth?
Well, I believe having a statement such as you allow your fans to yell derogatory language or derogatory slurs towards players is automatically bad for a head coach, because it shows that you don't have discipline. And without discipline and allowing players to, or even students to behave however they want, and you're representing the program and that's how you want to be represented, that can ruin your image throughout any school you try to apply to or any job you apply to, because that means you don't respect the image of your job. And so having that, she could lose her job at USC or anywhere else she wanted to coach basketball at, even in the high school levels, because you're allowing such rude behaviors and wrong actions to be taken care of. So that's why the case was brought up, because her whole lifestyle and her whole life choice was endangered just because of this simple statement.
Juwan, I just want to thank you for your insight on slander. Thank you for allowing me to do this interview.
Oh, no problem at all.
Very
no
insightful.
Problem at all. No problem.
Learned a lot. I appreciate